Hey, welcome to another episode of the Empowered Coach podcast. I'm your host, Richard, and on today's show, I have Toby. Nice to meet you, Toby.
Hello, mate. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you again. So let's jump straight into it. And I'd love for you to share a bit about who you are, what you do in your business.
Yes, so my name's Toby Simmons. I am a bit of a combination of a fair few things, to be fair. So I do content creation around fitness, all that kind of stuff as well, which built a little bit of an audience there, as well as I own a company called Active Xplore Travel. So I've worked in sports minus travel in different capacities for the last 12 years, and finally decided to hit the button a lot earlier than I anticipated initially, but means meant that I could. And what we do and specialize in is the facilitation of retreats, fitness camps, and working alongside coaches and fitness instructors so that they can include retreats into their business models. I bring not only my expertise, but also all of the licenses and that kind of thing, which a normal fitness instructor would be able to get. But by UK travel law, they have to run it to make sure everyone's financially protected and they're doing it properly. So we act almost as a group, if you will, and then act for them and advise them properly, handle all the payments, and give advice where we can on operations and help out and help people make it a very viable part of their business.
Nice. Super cool. Like really, really cool. And I know so many PTs have this on their vision board of like, yeah, just being in a nice sunny location with some clients, doing what you love, like sounds like the absolute dream. But then I think people get kind of scared of like, how do I even do this? Like the logistics of handling all the bookings, and then they get overwhelmed and then like they never do it. So yeah, is I guess, how do you solve those problems for PTs and fitness instructors?
Yeah, well, it's an overwhelming thing to try and set up in the first place. And having worked in travel for so long, I remember what it was like learning how to do those things for the first time, let alone doing it for like two people, but doing it for 12 people who are paying you good money and know you're making money off it and expect a certain service. It can become very overwhelming very quickly. And that's before you know about travel package regulations and the laws around it. And actually, a lot of the conversations that I have are with people who have already set up retreats for years and years, are comfortable with the operation of it. And this bit comes in and their head just completely blows out the side because they don't realize, one, a lot of them get upset because they've missed such a big thing. But secondly, it almost makes them feel like a beginner again. So a big part of what we do is just remove that anxiety and stuff and give them confidence that actually anyone can do this as long as it's set up correctly, you verse into it right, and you use tools such as ads or your own classes, whatever it is, to make sure that you're giving yourself the best opportunity. And, are still going to be anxieties. What if I don't sell places? All these kind of things. But again, we act as a bit of a aid to them to give them confidence that they can sell those places and then give them alternatives should it come in lower than it should and all that kind of stuff. But which is a big benefit of working with a company that's a licensed tour operator, as opposed to trying to do it yourself and finding yourself really up a cropper for not 30 quid for probably close to 10 to 20 grand if you mess it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So we connected through my yoga instructor. So Ashley, who I go to her yoga, she told me, she was like, oh, I got this amazing retreat like coming up. I think it was Sri Lanka. I was like, wow,
Morocco, that one. I think she was speaking to you
Morocco.
about Morocco. Yeah.
I was like, wow, like how did you even like think to do this? And she was like, oh my God, it's so easy. I have this guy and this company and they just like help me plan it all and it's amazing. And I just have to show up. So
Yeah.
it was like, it was off the back of like a referral, a really nice referral that we came in contact. And of course, found out you trained in the same gym and similar love for fitness as well. So I really like the fact that your kind of fitness through and through, like you understand fitness people. For the benefit of people watching, I'd love to share a bit about like your fitness journey and like what sort of training and stuff you love to do.
Yeah, cool. I mean, so varied, enormously varied, but we'll go right back to the start. So I think like everyone as a young lad, rugby, football, I got booted off the football team because I kept getting red carded as a goalkeeper. So naturally got recommended over to the rugby team and played that for ages. Had a head injury at 18, wasn't allowed to play anymore. But at the same time, this is when my travel career started. So I moved over to Alpe d'Huez in France, and that was the first time I moved away, which I thought was going to be a one-off, and it ended up being a 10-year stretch of just being here, there, and everywhere, doing various things. And in that time, in the first couple of years, I ended up starting to compete in freestyle skiing. So naturally, I love giving my parents heart attacks on a regular basis and them just having to watch it through Facebook at the time, which was the best time of my life. Just incredible. Took part on a couple of professional tours and got a few sponsors, and it was amazing. The best thing in the world. Naturally, you can't do that forever, not only because of injury, but because no one earns any money in it either. But yeah, then moved into, well, I had an injury skiing as well and found cycling and running and trail running and that kind of thing. So did various different trail marathons, which started with the Beachy Head Marathon here in Eastbourne where we are. And then moved on to coaching and guiding in places like Sardinia, Italy, Spain, Croatia for road cyclists and mountain bikers, which was again a bit of a dream job, just not a lot of money in it, but my 20s wasn't about making money. It was about seeing stuff and learning things. And, that time has now led to where we are today doing this. And then more recently, I've done full Ironmans, half Ironmans. I did the Beachhead Marathon as a full length triathlon for charity. And now my big focus is I've got a backyard ultra, which is a 4.2 mile loop. And the race goes until everyone gives up, which is horrific. And that's over on the South Downs near Brighton. But at the same time, keeping strength goals up. So working towards a 250 kilo deadlift at the moment, which isn't too far in the future. It's very close after something I did the other day. But yeah, that's the gist. I've done. It's very hard to explain my sporting history because none of it makes any sense. Because some of it I've got to be 60 kilos for, some of it I've got to be a slightly chunkier boy like I am now. But that's sort of my span, but it's fallen really nicely into what I do. And yoga, for example, we work with a lot of wellness and yoga teachers in the business. I took up yoga as part of my sort of injury rehabilitation. And in that process, I previously owned a yoga brand, which we made eco yoga mats, clothing, all that kind of stuff. But I sold that at the end of 2022. And yeah, so my sort of experience in sport in general is incredibly sparse, but it falls really nicely into what I'm doing here.
Yeah, yeah, you've touched so many different
Yeah.
disciplines and sports. So this race where everyone gives up, is it last man standing? Is that how you
Yeah,
win, or is
fully
there no?
last man standing, and there's a group of us who are all mates doing it, and we're all like, there's a couple of us who aren't training together because we wanna like really go for each other on the day. And I am one of those people that I get in a headspace about that kind of thing, it's like that sort of event is right on my street because I won't stop. Like it's gonna be a big day. It's gonna be a big day.
I'd rather die than lose. Is that the mind? Is that the
Yeah.
mind?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about winning, I care about beating my mates that I know that are there. That's all I care about. Yeah.
Brilliant. Um, so with all your like life experience and travels and different disciplines and stuff, it's opened your eyes, I guess, to a lot of different opportunities. And like even meeting you, you expanded my consciousness into this different revenue stream and way of building your business too. A lot of people watching this are going to be personal trainers. It's kind of my core audience of PTs, kind of slash online coaches. If you were in that space, or you had recommendations for people in that space, like how they could get even started or what a business model could look like, what advice would you give, or what would you even do yourself if you were in their shoes?
So moving into the retreat model, right, from where they are currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to be biased and say just contact someone like me or ideally, hopefully me. But the main things here are sort of the main questions I ask people. And as you can imagine, I get an incredible amount of people reach out who unfortunately just aren't in the place to run it yet. You have to be realistic with these things because there is a financial risk aspect to it. There always will be, no matter how much planning or just advice can come your way, you do need to be sensible about it. A general rule for me is sort of identify your demographic. Is it a group of people who have got the extra money to spend six, seven, £800 or more on a nicety. That is a huge aspect of it. If you're working with a group of people who go to cheaper gyms and deliberately don't buy new clothes all the time, and you can identify that, then you can probably assume that yes, you could run something shorter in the UK as a real cool team building event, but going to Bali isn't going to be on the cards. And you just have to be sensible in that sort of sense. That is the big one. And we identify demographics and that kind of thing, and realizing who your audience is the biggest part. Also realizing if you've got the capacity for it. Now, one of the biggest things that we do is we take about 90% of the admin associated with retreats off their plate, and we don't charge them a fee. So we will never send that host an invoice. We make our money off the end, and once the trip's delivered, that's how we do it. We take a small cut based on what's been taken. So of course, naturally, it's in our interest to make their life as easy as possible, and also make sure that they're making as much so that we can make money as well. But the big thing here is identifying that, are you going to be able to sell 12 spaces within your group? You might have a bunch of very affluent women who do yoga, and you're going to go and do a trip somewhere like Morocco, like Sweden, where Ashley's going, for example. But do they come to enough of your classes that going with you is going to be their holiday for the year, that they've got to go to their spouse with and go, I need 1,200 quid to go on this. So there are a few questions you have to ask yourself, but the entire goal of what we do is to remove those stresses and actually put a really good game plan in place. So every host that we have a call with who isn't ready to do it yet, whether it's the size of the audience or who their audience is, we work with them over a 2-year period, whether they're launching a retreat right then or not. We go, right, we're going to work with you over the next couple of years. Here's a few points. Come back to me in 3 months' time and tell me where you've got to on them. If there's no improvement, then, we can sort of go, well, just do it again. Or here's some little things we can change. But if they come back and go, I've tripled the size of my audience, I've got this group of 20, 25 women who come to classes at least twice a week, every single one of them, and they keep asking me X, Y, Z. They message me on Instagram. They like all my stuff. I'm like, cool. We're in a good place to run an 8-person retreat for £600 to £800. And if we don't sell 8, we sell 6, then we're covered. Then we're fine. So it's little things we put in place like that. And we don't sell it as coaching. It's very much like, let's get you to a place where we can run retreats and do this stuff collaboratively. So yeah, but there's a couple of questions to ask yourself, but it's not stuff that can't be combated with a bit of clever planning and action.
Yeah. What I really, really like about your service is the fact that you take on the risk too, so that the instructor doesn't feel like it's all on them. It's not like there's this service which I have to pay X amount to attain. It's like, no, you're going to work with them to give them the best opportunity to make some money off of their retreat. And then by doing so, then you as the company will also take some of that profit. If there's someone watching this that's like kind of, I love the sound of it, I've got quite a big core audience, maybe even like they own a gym,
Mhm.
but they're not really sure about what they do on a retreat. And like maybe there's other things that they think would be nice on a retreat, but they're not able to facilitate themselves. Is there stuff that you can help with that?
Yeah, I think one of the main ones, and one we've actually launched one recently, where one fitness instructor, one yoga teacher, they both have sort of medium to small audiences, but didn't really want to just run it themselves. So I've paired them up, and they're now going to go and run it together and split the profit 50-50. But the whole point of that retreat is not to make money. My big thing, and something I put on people's shoulders every single time on the phone. So you'll have people who come to you and go, I'm going to bring 10 people. I want to make £7,000. And I'm like, right, let's take a step back for a second. But the whole point of that retreat isn't that they're going to make loads of money. It's to nurture that audience so that over the next 2 years, you can run 4, 5, 6 retreats together, and you can turn it into a viable revenue building business model, as opposed to one and done. Everyone had an all right time, but we made X amount. And that should never be the point. It should be, there's a girl I work with called Nicole, and she is the perfect example of this. She runs 4, 5, 6 retreats. She sells out every single one, and she makes pretty good money off of it, because she spent the years and years nurturing that audience and turned it into a big part of her business. And it's such an important part of it. But yeah, so in terms of helping those people, sorry, I love going off on a tangent when I get chatting. But I was chatting to these two people. I've linked them up, never met before. They've just launched their retreat, and we've sold out, I think it's 70% of the spaces in 24 hours. right? Because they've gone out with, we've got this person, but I'm still going to be there as your channel. And yeah, that seems like a really good solution for a lot of people. Equally, people come to us and say, look, this is what I teach all the time. Do you have examples of itineraries or what I can do? And we help them put those itineraries together as well. It is on them to deliver when they're there and do their thing, because we can't be there and hold their hand the whole time. I'd need to have 20 hands, and it'll have to be about 3,000 miles long if that was what we were going to be doing. But yeah, we help them where we can and take from our experience and data that we've collected to make sure they've got the best chance of delivering something that people want to go to again and again.
Yeah, nice. And what about like just the day-to-day things that might happen, like feeding people or like I don't know, housekeeping in like wherever they're staying? How about those sorts of things?
We include that with every single retreat. We put a chef in every single retreat, whether it's 2 meals, whether it's brunch and dinner, which is the most popular because it's cheaper and people actually don't want to eat 3 full course meals when they're out working out and that kind of thing. A lot of the time they want 2 good meals and some snacks and good coffee kicking about. And so we provide that with every single retreat. If we have people say we want to cut the price, don't include the food, I say no, we're not going to do that, because you'll get there and you'll regret that decision for the entire thing, because everyone's going to be going to the shops trying to sort themselves out. Take the stress out of it. People will be happy to pay the money. And for the family style experience, it actually ends up being one of the bigger bonding things that people do on these trips outside of the classes. It's the time they get to sit, talk about the experience. And that's where people convince themselves of that they're having an amazing time and they've got all these people around them that are similarly built and have the same interests. And housekeeping, everything, that again, it's all done. We don't like a lot of random people popping around and cleaners and stuff, but it's usually once a week as a clean. It's enough. People aren't in these villas having house parties, so it's not usually a big problem. But, normal thing where it's like sort of a once a week clean or something like that.
Yeah. Awesome. This all sounds amazing. I'm super keen at some point like to run my own retreat as well. I think most people
Yeah.
probably are. Now as part of our relationship, we wanted to offer something to my community, and we talked about like a gold membership, which would give people access to exclusive discounts. I believe like even rates that are better than like booking.com and stuff like that. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So I'm a bit of a nerd for all this kind of stuff. So I've also built a hotel sort of booking system and stuff. So what the main idea behind it originally was, I do Ironman and triathlon and stuff, and hotels are extortionately expensive. You don't know where they are, and you find yourself on the Ironman website and then on booking.com trying to match up these roads in Italian, and you don't know where you're meant to be or where that thing is. So I built a full back-end booking system with 2.7 million hotels on it that you put in a race, and you can search for a hotel's location based on the finish line location, transition zones, and that kind of thing. On top of that, I've got normal hotels for, like you say, if you go to just anywhere in Spain, you go to the Algarve in Portugal, heading to Amsterdam, doing whatever you're doing, you can jump on there and do it like a normal search. But I've also built a thing into the back that it always comes up about 1% cheaper than booking.com, which I might get told off for at some point in the future, but in the minute it's fine. But yeah, so I mean, that's sort of my other side, is I'm an absolute nerd for this stuff and it works, and people don't use it. People use it on and off. But the main thing is that people come to me and go, saw this, really interesting. And then everything else happens through email and whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. I love the backdoor prices.
Yeah.
If
I'm waiting to get
someone,
caught on that one.
if someone's watching this, they've got a core community of clients. They believe that they could get like 10 to 12 people together for their first retreat, whether that's with themselves or whether maybe they know a yoga instructor or another person that wants to get involved. Sam, what's the next best steps for them?
So you can either give me an email directly, which is Toby at Active Xplore, or much easier, because the Active Xplore thing is the one thing about the name that is always an issue, is that there's only one E in the middle and people can't find my email. And that's one thing I'm very frustrated about, but it's my own fault. Hop on the Active Xplore website. If you type in Active Xplore Sports and Wellness or Active Xplore Wellness on Google, we should come up on the first page. or find my personal Instagram, which is Toby Simmons UK, and you can drop me a message or fill out a contact form on the website, and we'll always come back to you within 24 hours, usually a lot quicker than that, and we can get the ball rolling. Usually takes, if someone's in a good position to launch a retreat and we're happy, we can usually get a retreat, everything ready to go and launch out to your clients within 7 days.
Not hosting the retreat in 7 days though, right?
Not hosting a retreat in 7 days, no, God no. But yeah, if you we'd be looking at probably 8 to 10 months is sensible, because it's within the flight windows. So we know what the flights are going to be like into that area, which we don't book because people come from all over the place. But, it means that we know what's going on there. And it also 8 to 10 months it's not so far away that people go, oh, I'll think about it later. But it's also not close enough that people panic about money. That's like your sweet spot. So yeah, that's sort of what it would look like. You reach out in the contact form, we do a discovery call, get to know you, really go in the ins and outs. Transparency is a huge thing for us, and it's the only way this thing works. But myself and the guys that work with me, we're all very good at what we do. We never exchange information to anybody, but we like to make sure we really know what's going on before we dive someone in, and then down the line we learn something we didn't know. So yeah, that's the process. It's all very simple, and if you're not ready to do it yet, your audience isn't quite there, then we will work with you to make sure it is.
Yeah, awesome. I will link your website and contact details in the show notes below. And awesome to have you on, and good luck with the business.
Thank you, mate. Nice one.